Have you ever heard of a book so controversial, so mysterious, that it was deliberately left out of the Bible? A text that describes fallen angels, giant Nephilim, and a journey through the heavens that reveals cosmic secrets? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most enigmatic and influential books ever written, the Book of Enoch. Why was it hidden? What forbidden knowledge does it contain? And why does it still captivate millions around the world? Get ready, because the story we're about to uncover will challenge everything you thought you knew about ancient history and theology. So, what exactly is the Book of Enoch? It's not just one book, but a collection of 5 major sections, all attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. The Bible mentions him in Genesis, saying he walked with God and then was no more, for God took him. This brief, cryptic mention sparked immense curiosity. What did it mean that God took him? The Book of Enoch answers that question with a story of epic proportions. It claims Enoch was taken on a divine tour of heaven and hell, shown the secrets of the universe, the origins of evil, and the future of humanity. Let's break down the historical context. The Book of Enoch wasn't written overnight. Scholars believe its different sections were composed between 300 BC and 100 AD. This places it squarely in a fascinating period known as the Second Temple era, time of intense religious and political ferment in Judea, between the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem and its destruction by the Romans. This was a time when many Jewish writers were grappling with big questions. Why is there suffering and evil in the world? What happens after we die? What is the nature of God and his angels? The Book of Enoch offered detailed, visionary answers to these questions, which is why it became incredibly popular. In fact, it was one of the most widely read and respected texts of its time. So, if it was so popular, where is it now? Why isn't it in our Bibles? This is the million-dollar question. The process of deciding which books made it into the official biblical canon was long and complicated. It wasn't a single event, but a series of debates and decisions made by different religious councils over several centuries. For the Jewish canon, by the 2nd century AD, rabbis were moving towards texts written in Hebrew and those considered to have direct prophetic authority from an earlier period. The Book of Enoch, written later and with Aramaic and Greek influences, didn't make the final cut. For early Christians, the story is even more interesting. The Book of Enoch was hugely influential. It's quoted directly in the New Testament, in the Epistle of Jude. Jude writes about Enoch prophesying the Lord's return with thousands of his holy ones, a line taken straight from Enoch's book. Many early church fathers, like Tertullian and Origen, held it in high regard and considered it scripture. They were fascinated by its detailed angelology and its explanation for the origin of demons. So what changed? Well, as Christianity grew and became more structured, leaders started to favor a more streamlined and consistent set of texts. The Book of Enoch, with its wild imagery and elaborate stories about angels mating with humans, started to seem a bit out there. Some leaders, like Augustine, became more skeptical. They worried its fantastic tales might distract from the core message of the Gospels. They questioned its authorship and its origins. The book's focus on angels and cosmology was seen as potentially leading people into speculative, rather than practical, faith. Over time, as the official canon was solidified, the Book of Enoch was gradually pushed to the margins and eventually excluded from most Christian traditions. It wasn't so much a single vote to remove it, but a slow process of it falling out of favor. For over 1,000 years, it was considered lost to the Western world. That is, until the 18th century. In 1773, a Scottish explorer named James Bruce was journeying through Ethiopia, and there, he made a discovery that would rock the world of biblical scholarship. He found complete copies of the Book of Enoch, preserved for centuries by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. This church, one of the oldest Christian denominations in the world, had never removed Enoch from its Bible. For them, it had always been, and still is, sacred scripture. The discovery of these manuscripts was monumental. Suddenly, this lost book was back. Scholars could finally translate it and study the full text that had so captivated the ancient world. Let's get into the juicy details. What makes this book so compelling? One of the most famous parts is the Book of the Watchers. This section tells the story of a group of angels called the Watchers, who were sent to Earth to observe humanity. But they became corrupted by lust. They descended on Mount Hermon, took human wives, and taught humanity forbidden arts like sorcery, warfare, and cosmetics. The offspring of these unions were the Nephilim, a race of violent giants who consumed the earth and terrorized mankind. This story provides a powerful explanation for the origin of evil. It suggests that evil wasn't just a human invention, but a cosmic corruption introduced by rebellious divine beings. These fallen angels, according to the book, became the evil spirits or demons that plague the world. This is a far more detailed origin story for demons than you'll find anywhere in the Old Testament. Then there's Enoch's incredible journey. He's guided by archangels like Uriel and Raphael through the seven heavens. He sees the storehouses of snow and hail, the paths of the sun and moon, and the very foundations of the cosmos. He's shown the place of punishment for fallen angels, a fiery abyss, and the beautiful paradise reserved for the righteous. It's like a cosmic, behind-the-scenes tour of creation and judgment. He learns about the final judgment, the coming of a messianic figure called the Son of Man, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. This vision of an apocalyptic showdown and a righteous Messiah had a massive impact on both Jewish and Christian ideas about the end times. So, why is the Book of Enoch still so important today? For historians and theologians, it's a priceless window into the beliefs of the ancient world. It fills in the gaps between the Old and New Testaments, showing us the theological melting pot from which early Christianity emerged. Ideas that seem to appear in the New Testament out of nowhere, like a detailed demonology, a messianic Son of Man, the resurrection of the dead, and a final judgment, are all laid out in detail in the Book of Enoch. It's the missing link that helps us understand the intellectual and spiritual world of Jesus and his apostles. But its importance goes beyond academia. The Book of Enoch has had a profound and lasting impact on our culture. The imagery of fallen angels, celestial wars, and epic journeys has inspired countless artists, writers, and filmmakers for centuries. From John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost to modern video games and fantasy novels, the fingerprints of Enoch are everywhere. The story of angels falling from grace due to their love for human women is a powerful and enduring myth that continues to be retold in new ways. It also speaks to a deep human desire to understand the mysteries of the universe and our place in it. The book's bold attempt to explain everything from the movement of the stars to the origin of suffering is incredibly ambitious. It represents a thirst for knowledge, both scientific and spiritual, that is still very much alive today. People are drawn to the Book of Enoch because it doesn't shy away from the big, difficult questions. It offers a narrative that is grand, cosmic, and full of wonder. In the end, whether you view the Book of Enoch as divine revelation, a historical artifact, or a masterful work of ancient science fiction, its power is undeniable. It's a book that was rejected by the mainstream but refused to disappear. It survived for centuries in a remote corner of the world, waiting to be rediscovered. Its stories of angels, giants, and cosmic secrets continue to challenge our understanding of the past and inspire our imagination for the future. It reminds us that history is often more complex and mysterious than the official version we're given, and that sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones hidden in the margins. What do you think? Should the Book of Enoch have been included in the Bible? Does its story of the Watchers and Nephilim hold a forgotten truth? Or is it simply ancient mythology? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this incredible text. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the mysteries of the Book of Enoch. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more hidden histories and ancient secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue making content like this. We'll see you in the next one.